Hello, everybody. My name is Clint Knox. I'm the founder and CEO of Brainitz, and as well as a national board certified teacher of 10 years. I want to tell you, a lot of you guys know what Brainitz does is we allow teachers to embed questions throughout recorded video. And this product was really created out of a need in my own classroom. I was, to be very frank, very tired of seeing so many of my students fall so far behind, and a lot of it had to do with just bad life situations that they were in and having no real way to catch up. I wanted to be able to make my lessons and not just record them, but make them hold the students accountable and interactive. So what we do is we allow you to embed questions in recorded video. If the students get the question right, they move on. But if they get the question wrong, they're kicked back 2 minutes or so in the video to rewatch that section as many times as they need until they get the question right. This way, by students completing the video, they have to get 100%. Some will go through it faster than others, but yeah, so that's kind of the idea behind it. And with that being said, let's go ahead and just jump right into this. So you can take a look at our mission, pricing, registration, all that sort of stuff. If you want to scroll down, you can take a look at our partners, some testimonials from us, our tutorial, which is where you're seeing this video, and then also our terms of service and all that type of stuff. But if you want to go up to the top, we're going to go ahead and have you guys register as a teacher. Now, before you register as a teacher, I want to mention one last thing. You'll notice that this recording here is not going to be super fancy. It's not going to be highly edited or have all sorts of bells and whistles. And I'm doing that in part to show you as a teacher that your lessons that you record don't have to be highly edited and absolutely perfect. And that's one of the biggest obstacles of recording lessons for students that teachers face, is letting go of the idea that your lessons have to be perfect. They're not perfect when we give them. When I give my lessons to my 9th grade English students, they're not perfect then, and recorded lessons don't have to be perfect. They just need to be there for your students to be able to access and rewatch as they need it. So with that being said, let's go ahead and register for Brainitz. Simply hit the register button on the top right hand side. Now, if you have an account, click I'm an instructor, and then you'll put in your license here. For today, we're going to go ahead and just hit the I'm a trial version. You'll notice that your students are going to register in this exact same way, but we're going to go over the student registration in a bit. For now, go ahead and I would like a trial version. Type in this information. If you don't see your institution here, simply hit Add Institution, and then type this information in to add your school, and then hit Submit. If you do see your institution, you can just fill this stuff in and select your school from there. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Now, one thing to notice, your password cannot be the same as your username. And then also as a teacher, your password has to have 8 characters, has to have 1 lowercase, 1 uppercase letter, and at least 1 number. Once you've done that, you can hit our terms of service if you want to see it. Our privacy policy is here. You can scroll down and take a look at all that. But once you agree to the terms of service, go ahead and hit I've read and I agree, and then click register. From here, you're taken to your teacher portal. This is where you're going to be able to create your classes. So I'm just going to create period 1. You'll notice that the course code is fish22. We're going to talk more about this later, but this is the code that your students will use to be able to merge into your class. Go ahead and give your course a start and end date, and then hit create course. You've created your first course. We're going to go ahead and create one more course. And here we have our first 2 courses. Now, of course, in these courses, we haven't created any lessons, and that's what we're going to go ahead and do now. When you're ready to create a lesson, go to simply Add, and then you can either create your own new lessons, or you can select a lesson from the lesson library. Maybe you know a teacher that's using Brainitz that you really like his or her lessons, or your colleague. You can go ahead and select from the lesson library. Hit Get Lesson. And now you're able to see all the different lessons that are on the Brainitz lesson library. You can sort those lessons by subject and subcategory. Also, you can sort those lessons by library. But for now, we're going to just take a look at this punctuation lesson. Let's say you knew of this lesson and you wanted to take a look at it. You simply hit View. And this is actually exactly how the students will see this lesson. You can hit play. And as you'd watch through this lesson, all the questions that this teacher had put in will pop up. That teacher is actually me, as I was this is one of the lessons that I've created. So if you do like it, you can simply go ahead and go back. And sometimes it does this when you go back, it looks like your lessons have disappeared. Just hit the refresh button and it all pops up. So go back to add, select lesson from library, get lesson, and let's say that punctuation really was the one that you wanted to use. Go ahead and hit select and you'll notice that that lesson name is right there. Give that lesson a start date and an end date, and then add lesson to course. Now you can view all the lessons that are in class period 1. Well, we've got the punctuation that we've just created. You'll notice that under edit it says do not own, and that's because you are not the creator of this lesson. Another teacher created this lesson, and you can't change the questions that are in this lesson. Only that creating teacher can. So you are in essence borrowing their lesson, but you cannot modify that one. You can only use what they have. If you want to create a new lesson, which we're going to do, you can either hit create lesson here, and this will pop up, or you can hit add, which is here, and the same thing will happen. Now instead of selecting a lesson from the lesson library, we're going to actually create a new lesson. When you create a new lesson, you need to actually get the video. Now you can click get video and you can see all the different videos that we have in our video library. Now punctuation, that's that same video of the lesson that you just selected. The video exists as a video in and of itself. It also exists as a lesson with questions embedded. So you already uploaded the lesson, which means it had the video and the questions combined. This is just the video. And this is kind of nice if you liked the video, but you wanted to change the questions and add in your own. You could select that. For today, though, we're going to select subject-verb agreement. And again, if you want to preview that, you can simply click on the word subject-verb agreement and you'll be able to see the video. And this is kind of a nice feature because you can really easily skip forward throughout the video and see different sections. So let's say that's actually a video that you really want to use. Simply hit select. And now you'll notice that the video name is here. You need to give it a lesson name and a start and end date. You can choose to make this lesson private so that way only you and your students are able to see this, or public, and that allows other teachers across the hall, the district, or across the world to be able to see and possibly use your lessons. Once you've done that and hit add lesson to course, you're immediately taken to the editing page. This allows you to add questions throughout this video. You can play the video, pause it wherever you want. Now we're only 2 seconds in, and then insert a question wherever you want. So I'm going to hit at 2 seconds in, insert question, and you have your choices: multiple choice, true, false, short answer essay, or message. We're going to do a quick message. When you hit select, you can type in your message here and then hit insert. You'll notice that the question is right there. If you need to go back and edit that, just simply hover over top of that little holder, which is where the question is, and you can edit it and save it as you need. You can also scroll forward in the video, or you can just watch it from wherever you left off. For purposes of making things easy and quick, we're just going to put a few questions here at the very beginning. Insert, we can do true, false. And next, we're going to go ahead and select a multiple choice. Multiple choice is pretty nice because you can add up to 8 possible answers. And this really forces your students to really pay attention to the video and the question. If you have some students that maybe aren't quite as motivated and you put in a lot of true false questions, they may simply guess because they're only going to get kicked back to just after the last correct answered question and then hit true and then hit false and go through the video without actually ever paying attention. But if you get questions with 4 or more possible answers, then students will look at this and go like, oh no, I really need to pay attention, otherwise I'm going to be here all day. And here we're selecting F as the correct answer. Now finally, if you want to insert a short answer essay question, simply hit short answer essay and select. Type in your question here and then your sample answer here. So the question I typed in is, in a complete sentence, what is the title of this lesson? And my sample answer is, the title of this lesson is subject-verb agreement. And then hit insert. If you put in a question and you insert it, and that's not a question you like, you can always go back, hover over top, and you can edit it and save it, or you can delete that question entirely. But I like all the questions that we put in, so we're going to go ahead and leave them there. At this stage, you've entered all the questions that you need. Your video and your questions are automatically saved. You can go back to the teacher portal. Once you do that, you can again view all the lessons that you've created. And right now we've created punctuation and subject-verb agreement. Once we're there and we see subject-verb agreement, we can either go back and edit this again if we'd like, or we can view this exactly as a student would view this. And here, don't forget to take your notes. The lesson is called subject-verb agreement, and the student can actually move this out of the way as they need. We're going to get this one right. And if the student gets the next question wrong, they're going to be kicked back to just after the last correct answered question. In this case, it was only a few seconds. Now, I do want to point out one thing. As soon as this question popped up, a little timer came up here, and it started at 300 seconds, and it counts down. That is exactly 5 minutes. And if a student sits on this question and they don't engage with it, they've walked away from the video for 5 whole minutes, then the video will log them out and will tell them that their session is timed out. They will also lose the progress from the last previously correct answered question. And that's intentional, because what we don't want a student to do is hit submit and then hit OK, and simply walk away from the video and wait till the next question pops up and then answer that. If they walk away and a question has popped up for 5 minutes, then it will time them out and they will lose their progress back to the previously correct answered question. And here's a short answer essay. So I want to show you how this works. The student's going to type in their answer and then they hit submit. Let me show you what happens next. And they hit submit. Now, it tells them how similar their answer is to the teacher's answer. The teacher's answer is here. The title of this lesson is subject-verb agreement. It gives them a similarity calculation that their answer is 42% similar to the teacher's answer. It just gives some feedback to the student how close their answer was to this teacher, as well as what the sample answer was that the teacher gave. It's not the end-all be-all, but it does let the student know is that, hey, here's the teacher response, and here's just a quick calculation of how close you were to it. When the student is ready to suspend, maybe the class period is over and they haven't quite finished the video, they simply hit suspend and they can save their progress. It is important that the student should not simply exit out of this, as it will not save their progress. They need to hit suspend for their progress to be saved. Now, of course, that was simply as a student view from the teacher login, so we're now back to the teacher portal.